Welcome to Ultiworld coverage of the World Beach Ultimate Championships 2025. The Praia de Roche, the Algarve, the party in Portimão is getting underway here. Day 3 of the action in the mixed division. We have Australia versus Spain. Myself, Hannah Pendlebury on the call with Becky Thompson. Becky, what are you expecting from this matchup?
Well, Hannah, this should be another really exciting game. It's getting into those crucial moments in the pool stage. We've got the top 2 teams of Pool B facing off against each other. Both of these teams undefeated so far as well, looking to try to take that top spot in their pool.
Indeed. It's always nice to see a white shirt undone here on a live stream. Of course, looking across the division, you've got some pretty strong opponents at the top of our very fully flush mixed division. The Czech Republic, Czechia, coming in with a 3-1 record here in Pool B, looking like a real team to try and take down.
Yeah, and the Spanish, of course, the reigning silver medalist from the World Championship 2 years ago, and Ana Perez-Voto has been crucial to this Spanish team. 8 goals, 3 assists so far in this tournament. The FMP players here, the women on the sand for Spain, have been dominant, Hannah.
They certainly have. And Jake Wilson for the Mud Crabs, the Castanets are out, and he is absolutely munching up the stats board. Look at that number of just assists alone across 4 games.
Yeah, he's been really, really strong so far for the Aussies. Of course, the stats slightly more in the favor of Wilson for Australia, whereas the statistics on the Spanish side a bit more spread across the board. So it'll be interesting to see how these 2 teams match up.
It certainly will. We expect Spain to come out very strong, of course, off the back of a silver medal performance in Huntington Beach, being taken down only by the French, who they know very, very well. The Aussies, their game plan is to try and keep the offence out as long as possible. Don't mind that for a strat, especially on a 1/4 time slot. So the Aussies starting to get this firing. Easy moves on the underneath. That one requires a little bit of a scramble, but well held by Taga. Wilson, as you'd expect from the stats board, marshalling at the back. Now Gray. Lead into space, and that's just a little bit too much to be asked. You can see the arms pumping for Betty Tan, but that's a first turnover.
Yeah, just trying to push the envelope a little bit with that one. Tan cutting into that space was free, but that disc just sailing too far in front.
Well, a nice idea, but the first break opportunity for Spain. They'll get things going. Moreno. Of course, the connections on this side very, very well honed indeed. Ramos bringing that in with a double catch. Back to Ramos. Goes for the swish and dish. Keeping things patient, unlike many a D-line offense. Truqui inside to Goicolea Rodriguez. Oh, Nakora Carter athlete. Oh, that is just a very tasty throw indeed. Irene Goicolea Rodriguez with the first point and a break for Spain.
Rodriguez just wide open in that end zone space. Another beautiful leading throw as well, and a really strong start from the Spanish team. What you would expect from a team who's used to being in these big games as well, Hannah. Not going to shy away from the occasion.
Well, a real compare and contrast, isn't it? Because that one was absolutely on the money, but the turnover that gave it away, similar style.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say the throw and go movement there as well from Spain. So speedy into that space and just punishes a defender when you're able to move off your throw like that. Spain looking strong right away.
And of course, many of the athletes from around the Spanish nation. A couple of folks, though, as you'd expect from Guayota, the Canary Islands outfit. And of course, many of the athletes coming to this championship in November will be heading to CFC, the Lanzarote-based tournament, in a couple of days after this one concludes. So the Aussies back out there. Blacklock inside Reacher. Not quite the continuation for Holly Reeve, but puts it out. And again, it's a little bit of a grassy throw, but there is the rundown. Alicia Chua, like a ninja, sneaking through and stealing that away in the night.
Nice assist there from Holly Reeve. Reeve, a player that we expect to see a lot of as well here for this Australian team. 26-year-old from Sydney. No stranger to the Australian ultimate scene and the international stage as well.
So one apiece, Spain up a break. Get another look at that throw from Reeve. Alicia Chua with the full snood with the ear holes here. I kind of actually really like that Becky as a look. Just means you can lay out into the sand and not end up with a mouth full of it. Nice depth on the pull. Garcia. Perez swishing in front, slightly cuts off Goicolea. Now Roy. Can hear the pass count from the mud crabs, the castanets working. But this is really good connectivity from Spain. You can see how well drilled they are. Garcia, just the simplest of backhands, the little turn from Aina Perez, and that will do very nice. Sharking for the second point for Spain.
Love the way that Spain lets Perez set up that isolation right in front of the disc as well. No other cutter in sight, just gave her that time to cut really where she wanted to, and a nice easy turn back to the cone for the goal. Spain looking quite dominant here at the start through their FMPs in particular, Hannah. We did mention this at the start, the stats of 4 of their female matching players in double-digit stats before this game. Perez doing what she does best and scoring goals.
Although there is one person missing from that FMP set that is a big deal. Of course, that's Marta Ortiz, who's all just on the sidelines. She's got a knee brace on and some crutches. Hopefully, we've not had a full assessment of that one, but that's a big loss for Spain.
Yeah, that would be a huge loss. A very talented player, unfortunately going down, I believe, yesterday with the knee injury.
Perhaps she'll be back, but it does look a little bit awkward. But the Aussies now coming back out. Oh no. Wilson just gently lofts it to Tan. You can see that big poach off in the lane. The fall and throw to McLeay. Tan with the reach under. They're bracketing off the stack, the FMPs. Now it's Taggart who pushes through. Big sky ball, gents underneath it. Pressure is there, but nothing to deny Mark McLeay the skies.
McLeay reading that one all the way. Had the position as well. That disc did hang up in the air, giving a potential look in for the defense, but McLeay used his body position well and timed that cut perfectly for the goal as well. Australia staying in, keeping us tied, I should say here, 2 apiece, and a nice strong start to this one, Hannah.
Yeah, that was really patient offense at the beginning, just pushing it back and forth, really, like you're kind of just trying to rake the sand.
That throw from Wilson as well. His first assist of this game, adding to his overall tally, of course.
Well, he's 14 for 4. What do you reckon? By the end of this one, maybe, 19 for 5?
Keeps throwing like that. I mean, it's hard to imagine he won't be on the stat board more in this game. He's been really controlling the tempo of their offense so far as well.
Well, the hottest day so far in this championship. You can see the fast drying plaster. Just beautifying here in the low season for the Algarve. Another look at the zone from the mud crabs. presenting a different puzzle. Perez, beautiful leading forehand. Roig will dish. And that's just too easy, isn't it? Goicoleo Rodriguez again in the end zone. But you can throw lots of looks at this Spanish side, but they are just so well connected.
Spain play a really interesting style of beach ultimate as well here, Hannah. They're really happy to have one or two players just basically hanging out in the end zone throughout the duration of the point, creating a lot of isolation space in the middle of the field as well. But Goicolea there just stayed in the end zone until the disc got closer and then took her moment to make that cut. But they create so much space, and that's a really hard thing to defend on sand if you're Australia as well.
It's a similar vibe to kind of when you play on an indoor format. That, indeed, confidence to keep stretching it deep does mean that there's so much more difficult a job of the centre pocket player. And just look at that. So Spain 3, Australia 2. The Mud Crabs still very much hanging tough. Just that one break. These two undefeated teams. Tam with the around. McClay thinks about it. Wilson now looking to add a goal to his tally, but he is going to be denied. That one was way from downtown. Read immediately by Alberto Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez and Andrea Carretero as well in that space, meaning that Wilson couldn't actually take a step backwards to try to make the play, just sandwiched by those two defenders there. Really good defensive work.
Felt a little bit greedy almost. The Aussies have certainly been doing a good job of playing patient offence. But now an opportunity for another break. Teperino to get us underway. Nice patience. Ramos. On the underneath. Oh, that's a great layout effort. Now Druki. Up through. Ramos found the hands eventually. Just the body moves to grind up line. And pose through the letterbox. Well, that is just smooth moves and sailing. Betancourt with the goal. And it's another break for the Spaniards.
Spain showing a lot of patience in their ability to just work up the disc off the turnover there before Betancourt open in that upline pocket. Spain looking as strong as we expected them to here, Hannah.
Well deserved silver medalists last time we were at the Beach World Championships. But there's that throw. A nice shape on it from Tam, but just not the right moment.
Great touch on that shot up line to Betancourt as well, using the advantage of the defender maybe having his head slightly turned away from the disc as well, so not able to make a play. You can see the fans here really loving being on the sand in Portimão, Hannah. It is an absolutely incredible venue to be enjoying watching some Frisbee.
Oh, absolutely. My 5th time here, and it is just a wonderful place to be. The Aussies grinding through nice and hard, that one. Well handled again. That iconic snood for sure. Diggins. That is just a flag of a throw, waving to all the fans back home. Alex Young with the score for Australia.
Alex Young, his first senior national team appearance here for Australia, having played for U20s and U24s before coming in with the goal. Real nice throw, but great timing on that cut from Young to open up the space and find the end zone. Australia showing they're not going to go away easily. You see that throw, had to turn his head to find the disc over his shoulder, but able to just run onto it.
Diggins finding some buried treasure there. Look at this for some vibes. Day 3, of course, those stands will be absolutely packed when we get to our championship finals on Friday and Saturday. And of course, if you want to catch all the action, because obviously this one's going out free on YouTube, thank you for joining us if that's the platform you're watching on. But you're going to have to make sure you get your packs and subscriptions for every drop of the beach action. Carretero through. Roig. A truss throw into the space, and that is Carretero's for days. Druki with the grab.
Just making it look so easy once again, and that is something that the Spanish team can do so well. It's the ability to know how quick their receiver is going to get to that space. They're so used to playing on the sand and just throwing a beautiful leading pass. No need for any dramatics on the catch either. Just really simple, nice offense here from Spain.
Such an early throw with all the touch in the world. Very beachy.
Yeah, we see a lot of these deep throws so far this week, Hannah, coming up really late, being a bit more accurate so that you're not having to risk throwing it slightly too far on the sand. But Spain showing that that's not an issue for them here. They know how to get the touch on those passes, and really, really fun to watch them hit those shots.
Well, of course, a large contingent of supporters from Spain. Full flush in every division. Just a short commute from across the border here in Portugal. The Aussies now back on the charge. Sends it, but it's blocked on the underneath. Ramos with the vision, and then we'll turn it back around and go get it back in play. This to try and double up the score of their opponents. Nice early movement from Goicolea Rodriguez. Nice inside find as well. So fast with those fakes for Betancourt, and then he lofts it into the back corner, and it will work beautifully. Great grab from Raza Ramos. Kept the eyes on the prize and reeled it in.
Once again, it's a really nice leading throw into the end zone for one of the Spanish FMPs to run onto. Ramos doing it this time. And I have to say, Hannah, the Australians might want to look to find a way to push those female matching players into the underspace, get them on disc more, because right now in the end zone they have looked unstoppable.
The movement on sand from these FMPs for Spain is just a thing to be beheld.
See, Ramos was waiting for that throw to go up, knew it was coming, the big smile after the block as well, and then getting the bookend score going back the other way. Spain taking control of this one early on.
And it is fascinating because, of course, it's been really interesting to see Spanish clubs and nations coming out and saying we can also play on grass, you know. But it's nice to see them flourish on the surface to which it feels like they were made at some points.
Yeah, absolutely. They know this surface better than I think almost any of the teams here, and showing us exactly why so far.
Another bit of a catch-up Graz vibe. The hand block, foot block chant from the sidelines. Diggins. This time a short shovel. Young now. There's Stewart on the underneath. There's a late stall one that Diggins will scramble for. Faking that hammer. And it's such a good condition to throw it in. That one's going to take quite the track down and will indeed land out of the reach of Jacob Blacklock.
Yeah, Blacklock looking to try to track that down, but the stall count was climbing, leaving Diggins with no options, having to look for Blacklock at the back of the end zone. Can see what he was trying to go for, but Blacklock wasn't quite looking for that option either.
Should have been a hammer, mate.
Yeah, something with a bit more float over the top, give him a chance to react to make that play.
And of course, every throw is on today. We had some fierce wind conditions in the earlier stages of the tournament, so interesting to see how the results today are different. Some teams certainly feel a lot stronger, but you can have pretty much any throw in the bank.
It's very still out here today, a little bit warmer because of it, but you can tell the players seem to be enjoying that as well.
Real beach holiday vibes in November. What more could you ask for? Lash into the centre pocket for Sanchez de Rio. Gavaldoni points to the soft side of the pitch, and that again, these lead passes, it's just inhuman. Perez, another stat on the board like no one else.
This time around, Perez started that cut a little bit deeper, but the ability of the Spanish team to hit those throws is truly something special to watch. That was absolute perfection, and Perez making it look easy, taking in yet another goal here.
And that will bring us to half-time, 7-3. And it's very quick indeed, just 20 minutes and change. But see if the Aussies can bring it back. Can the Crabs grab something in the second half? Find out after this break. Second half about to get underway. Mixed pool play in front of us. Spain, silver medalist last time around versus the Mud Crabs from Australia. And look at these rates. My goodness.
Perfection from Spain so far here, Hannah. 0 turnovers, 3 for 3 on clean holds, 4 for 4 on break chances. Just putting on a clinic of beach ultimate right now.
This is scary stuff for the folks who are going to have to face up against this Spanish mixed team later on the tournament. And I'm sure some teams will be rubbing their hands together at the opportunity to take the scalp. Firing on all cylinders. A couple of different personnel coming in the second half. Roy with a nice high release backhand, and must give me more of Anya Perez in the end zone. She's just day at the office, isn't it, really?
Perez doing it again, her third goal of this game, and was tracking that disc all the way as it swung across the field as well there, and able to just be wide open. Her defender couldn't match her for pace on the sand. Perez, another goal, 8-3. No turnovers again for Spain on that point. Of course, another clean hold. And Hannah, this has just been so impressive to watch from the Spanish team.
Well, they say about themselves, one team, one family, and one dream. And this just offensive possession, just dreamy.
And credit there as well to Alex Garcia, who was shoulder checking and looking at the cut from Perez. He could have easily cut into that upline space, but he held his cut back when he saw how free Perez was as well. So great chemistry across the board there from the Spanish team.
We already mentioned Guayota, of course, club champions in all 3 divisions on European sands. But a big shout out to all the Barcelona Sharks folks, because that's where Perez plays her ultimate, with grass as well as on the beach. A wonderful city full of fantastic culture. But the Mud Crabs trying to dig themselves out of the little hole they find themselves in before the tide arrives. Nice underneath, but it's just gunning towards the end zone. Fantastic throw. What a hoop from Holly Reeve, finding Alex Young.
Reeve putting out a dime for Young there. Australia did look like they didn't have too many ideas. Reeve was looking at the stack and not seeing many cuts. Young reacted to that really well and set off towards the end zone. And with a thrower like Reeve on the disc, that's exactly where you want to be. Just a beautiful pass.
Well, Manly Ultimate fans will be watching this one with a couple of smiles. Reeve is just a bit of a wizard, really. Just can create whatever she wants, puts the wand in the air. And, of course, has got some family alongside. Her parents took the journey to Portimão this year.
Get another look at it. Steps out with that backhand. puts it into space, getting close to the sideline. Young had to make sure there, but enough time and float on that disc just to track it down. See, he was watching the sideline all the way there as well. Excellent awareness from Young and a great throw from Reeve.
Well, that's to add a little bit of oxygen in the mask for this mud crab side. Certainly have some great results to be proud of, and by any accounts, if they can get the opportunity to break the Spanish, they might just be able to make the most of it. But Goicorea Rodriguez, so much separation, that's got to be exploded coverage somewhere in the defense, but they will take it.
And Alex Garcia again, the beautiful flick throw into space. Goicoea unmatched so far in her speed. I'm not sure if there was a blown switch as much as she was just able to gain so much separation on that cut. And Spain absolutely punishing to come out and just one pass, easy, two pass even, center and then a huck for the goal.
Yeah, former Coracota player, was coaching alongside with the U24s back in Logroño earlier on this season. A real community builder. No, actually, there you are, Becky. Exactly as you called it. Off she went.
Just too quick and not great reaction there from Australia. Betty Tan just expected the undercut, turned her hips, and as soon as the hips turned, Goicoea exploited it to the end zone.
We've certainly seen some intelligent help defense being played out here on the sands. It is something you have to be so aware of with just 5 athletes per team on a big pitch of golden sand. You can find yourself hung out on a rope. Bit too much body on that one, reaching over the shoulder of Scott Perry, and I definitely think that's a valid foul call, and it's accepted.
It's hard to come around that outside shoulder and avoid contact, so a close effort, but the right outcome, I think, on that play.
Big backhand break. Richards now. Wide open space this near side, but that's a block on the stats board from Yaisa Ramos. Denial, defense, and bookends again for the number 18. Demonic.
Spain are so quick on that transition back into offense after getting the block as well. Ramos gets that hand block and immediately sets up a cut in the end zone. Open her second goal, 2 goals, 2 blocks in this game so far for Ramos. And again, Spain just moving at a different speed here on the sand. You get a chance to see that block again, just telegraphed it the whole way, and then sees her teammate running up to the disc and goes and sets up that cut. Beautiful stuff.
At the moment, it's just punch for punch. This Spanish team have come out all guns blazing this fine Tuesday afternoon. Looking at the results so far, of course, this is, the first loss that Australia are likely to take. Of course, if they can't find something seriously special and get an opportunity for a break against Spain. But my mind goes to this 9-8 result for Spain over the Czech Republic, or Czechia, as they're now known. It's going to be really interesting to see how the Mud Crabs can fare in their game later on in the tournament. So Young slowly bringing it back in, looking at that isolation. Just takes the open poach. Now Young driving forward. No one really coming in to replace until relatively late, and there goes the spoils.
Oscar Betancourt there was reading that one all the way, had set himself up just to take one step over onto the inside lane and gets the block.
Little shuffle into Mas. Well, there is our first turnover for Spain. Probably not the right choice, double coverage.
Yeah, the defender there who was marking Perez just stayed in that lane to make that difficult. Alicia Chua.
Well, the Crabs get it back. foul call off the disc. Back in play. To the soft sound of castanets. Blacklock through. Oh, that is a great grab on the underneath. Hedic. And Diggins. To Chua. That's around to Young. Hedic is there, but they choose the swing instead. Hedic very free. Chua saying she's going to have to shoot something deep soon, and it's going to be Diggins to try and bring it down, and he does! Great read from Matt Diggins. That's my dad, he says. Fantastic.
Excellent job there from Diggins. I think one thing Australia have been good at here, Hannah, is recognizing that they need to cut to the end zone when the stall count is climbing, and Diggins taking full advantage, showing off his dad there on that shirt. And Australia have done some really good things in this game. They haven't been able to match the tempo that Spain has been playing with, but when they're stuck into those difficult situations, they've been able to get themselves out. That one, you see the earlier block from Betancourt before Alicia Chu was able to just kind of step over in the lane. The first turnover there from Spain, and then Chua going back the other way. Great recognition there from Diggins to cut to the end zone. Well, Big Daddy vibes as Australia managed to recover their first point of the game. So they've proven to themselves they can turn over the D-line of Spain. Can they do the same to the offensive set? Garcia finds the poached player eventually. Carretero back. And then reassembles. Ramos. Through. Easily moving it around the back. Cobos high. Just keeping it so simple. Nice spacing and tempo, not too much movement, and there's the isolation. Ramos just hits the tape and collects the 11th goal of this game for Spain, 2 away from reaching the hard cap. Ramos' third goal of this game as well. She has been so hard for Australia to mark in the end zone space, but this time doing it a lot around the disc as well before finding herself in the end zone, helping move it, those little dish passes. Spain are doing such a good job of controlling the tempo of this game. If they want to take a moment to survey what's happening, they're happy to hold on to the disc, and as soon as they're off to the races, they're happy to move with speed as well. They are dictating the pace here. Yeah, a firm throttle hold of this match for Spain right now. And they're starting to see the lines loosen up a little bit. A couple of different personnel taking to the sands together, so happy to experiment. As I think that was a little bit of a flash of the Czech side, if I recognise those jerseys. Of course, you can catch up with all of the results by heading to wbuc.wfdf.sport. Massive thanks to all the crew, our volunteers and our statisticians pulling those numbers. And of course, if you want to catch all the extra from this wonderful championship on our live streams, you know where to go. Take her through. That's a really great grab, and then streaks away. Gray playing in Technicolor. A strip call on the far sideline, immediately accepted by Carretero. House around Wilson. Oh, that is just a picturesque forehand into the path of Hinako Taga, and Australia will take that. Australia, one of their more clinical looking points here, Hannah, as well, able to take their time working it up into the end zone, and I think they'll have quite a few things that they'll be happy with coming away from this game, especially in the second half. They've looked a little bit more calm and a little bit more like the team we expected to see.
Well, and certainly it is all about finishing in the top 3 positions to advance to the upper power pools here in the mixed division. I think it's pretty certain that Spain are going to do that.
Yeah, you would think, and this pool, of course, will cross over with Pool D in the power pools. That Pool D, a really exciting one where any of the top 6 teams really could still end up in the top 3 positions. Germany at the top of that pool right now, but no team undefeated in that one, so it'll be interesting to see how this all shapes up. But for now, Australia and Spain looking to get into those spots. Like you said, Spain surely top of this group.
Nice big pull from the Mud Crabs, but not the run down to pin them in their own territory. Ramos to Goicorea. This is really good match coverage, and there comes the foul call. Unfortunate. That was really good pressure from the match defense of the Mud Crabs.
Some of the best pressure D we've seen from this Australian team as well, really locking out the reset to make that difficult. Definitely a foul on the mark, but a lot better from Australia.
Roy across. Oh, and there's nearly the layout interruption. Players flying everywhere right now. This is more like it. It puts a little bit of a chill in the air, but it still sails clear and into the path of Goicorea Rodriguez. But that was some much more intense defense from the Mud Crabs.
The Mud Crabs there just came out with a lot of fire, Hannah, putting more pressure than we've seen on the Spanish team. I think recognizing that if they make those resets really difficult, they can get Spain into a tough situation there. But as soon as they were able to work the disc up to their cutters, then once again we see Goicorea happily in the end zone getting the goal. Get another look at some of the amazing efforts there. So close on some of those, but Spain withstanding that pressure, keeping their calm, and then amazing another goal here for Goicorea.
Well, and of course, if you're a fan of these two ultimate nations, you're going to get a back-to-back. Spain and Australia in the open divisions will be happening in the game slot right after this one. Do we treat you? I think we do. If you want to watch it, though, of course, you're going to have to get your subscription. This one going out to you free on YouTube. Get yourself an all-access pass. Highest level of subscription. It's such good content, folks, and it's a pleasure to bring you every drop. Blacklock in the centre to Hidic. Young has separation for Blacklock, and the eyes are there, but unfortunately the interruption. Oscar Betancourt with his second big block of the game.
Betancourt is so good at anticipating those to get himself into the right position to make the D.
Gabaldoni. Initiation to Mas. Carretero sends it. Oh, that is just a thing of beauty.
We've seen the FMPs here for Spain in the end zone all day, Hannah, but on this situation, able to show what they can do on the throwing side of this game as well. Spain, I think, taking the win here.
Yep.
13-6, just running away with it. They played at a completely different tempo than we've seen. Look at the little duck there celebrating for the Spanish team. Get a look at the turn here. Betancourt just able to shoulder check at the right moment, knows where the disc is at all times, and then Carretero went back the other way. Beautiful leading pass for the goal.
Yeah, stunning stuff. It just felt like so much of a natural rhythm. Of course, you know, Spain had just scored another point. That's the end of the game. It's like it was just constantly pushing the Aussies against the ropes. They did do a better job in the second half, brought the intensity, but that was Spain's from the very beginning.
Spain definitely a team to watch in this tournament. We knew that coming into this one, Hannah, but we know it even more now, and I think other teams will certainly be looking at this game for scouting to see how they can generate more turnovers from this Spanish team, because they were so clean throughout this entire game.
They certainly were. I'm sure the numbers will tell quite the impressive story. Just that one, as we get another look, of course, at the overhead shot. What a beautiful place to be.
Goycochea was a star of this game. Ramos as well, getting 2 blocks and 3 goals to her name. Holly Reeve did everything she could for this Australian side, but Spain just really dominant.
Well done to the Mud Crabs to hold on, but it's just a fine finesse finish for Spain. They will take the victory in the penultimate game of Pool B play here on the sands in Portimão. Spain 13, Australia 6.